Hello, everybody.
Welcome to
The Julia and Victoria Show. I mean, we did start to answer a question, but then, Riverside wasn't playing games. So we'll start over again. So, Julia, would you like to go first and read the question again?
Okay. So, I'm in recovery from anorexia. I've been working on breaking compensation habits using exercise. I used to run every day and I've quit cold turkey, so fantastic, well done to you for that. However, I've been told I also need to reduce the amount I walk. My problem is that I have a toddler. We live in a city and we don't have access to a car. Our apartment is tiny and staying home all day leads us both to be bored to tears. I'm a stay-at-home mum, and so getting out in the fresh air, going to the park or shops, etc., is so important to my well-being and socialisation. Plus, my toddler loves to be outside too, and we're both much happier having been out, usually twice a day. I've tried really hard to stay home in order to truly identify any hint of compensation behaviour with walking, but being a mum to a toddler is adding a whole level of complexity onto this.
So I'll start off by saying what she didn't know what I said because it didn't record properly. Well done for what she's done so far. It sounds like she's really taken responsibility for her recovery and is dedicated to it. So massive acknowledgement for that because it's really hard. You can recover without stopping walking. It just depends if you're using it to compensate. So I understand your dilemma, especially with what you've described, and getting fresh air and being outside is really good for your mental health. Are you using that walking for compensation, or are you simply walking and being outside with your toddler and then having someone else say you need to stop walking? Do you agree, Julie? It's like I need to speak to her really to see if she is using it and walking a lot on purpose, or whether she's just walking and then trying to do everything perfect and not walk at all.
Yes. Yeah, that question kind of needs to be answered. When you think honestly, oh my God, sorry, the dog just fell off the sofa.
Oh, is she
She's
okay?
fine, yes. Oh, don't press
Is it Evie or Daisy?
it was Evie.
Oh, poor Eves.
Um, okay, so where was I?
Whatever you want. I was saying that we kind of need to know if she is compensating or whether she's just walking and then being told not to walk.
Yeah, so deep down inside, you know whether you are walking more than you absolutely need to. If you
Mm.
live in a city, there's likely to be great public transport links to get you to the park. Are
Yeah,
you
that's what I was.
not using them when you could use them? Are you walking round and round the park rather than sitting by the pond and feeding the ducks?
Yes.
It's a case of being truly honest with yourself, isn't it? Because, yes, a perfect recovery involves literally eating and sitting, but it doesn't involve actually living a life and being a mum and doing all the things you need to do to be part of a life. So a real recovery involves looking honestly at your motivation for doing things, how much you're doing of them. You don't have to stop living your life, but you do need to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you can recover and walk in a life situation without doing it extra compulsively on purpose, but only you will know the answer to that. It sounds like from what the question said, it sounds like she's in a good place. And I would guess that she's not doing it compulsively, but obviously we don't know. She will know. And it might just be permission not to do anything perfectly and just do the best with
Absolutely,
what she
yeah.
has.
Because a huge part of the eating disorder for many people, and it certainly was for me, was the perfectionism, the
Yeah, for
trying
sure.
to tick every box in the recovery journey and all that sort of thing. And recovery is never perfect.
No, life's not perfect. Nothing's perfect.
No, never.
So let us know, like how she, like, she'll probably reach out to you and let you know / us know how she responds to the
Great
the answer to
question,
the
though.
question. Yeah, really great question. It sounds like she's really taking care of her recovery, so I'm not worried about her. Where shall I go first? Let me start with the group. Here we go. We've got 10 comments. So the first one is from the lovely Sue. We know Sue. How to rebuild motivation to keep recovering when you flatline and hit the fat and frumpy stage.
Hit the
Mm.
current. Sorry, can you repeat the last part of that?
She says, how to find motivation when you hit the fat and frumpy phase.
Okay, so first of all, the language you're using to yourself is, how is it making you feel? Because if I used that language to myself, I would feel rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Same.
so be very careful about the language you use to yourself. Would you say that to somebody else?
I wouldn't. I don't think she would
I
either.
don't think so. So then it's not really okay to say it to yourself, is it? Because it's going to
No.
feel terrible. So I would absolutely say the first thing is stop telling yourself you're fat and frumpy.
Yeah.
And secondly, you have two choices. A bit of tough love here, right? You Motivation doesn't really matter. It's a choice. You choose to start being kind to yourself, to start talking to yourself nicely, to start telling yourself that your worth and your body size are not linked.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
you continue calling yourself names, you continue telling yourself that the size you are is unacceptable, and you live in misery.
Yep. What does she exactly that? Because that's not recovery at all. When I first read the question, I was like, well, that's not even recovery because motivation doesn't exist. It comes and goes. So that's just a fair weathered friend that is no point relying on for recovery. It's choosing, like you said, to speak differently to herself, which is very key. And then also choosing what's more important, to have an eating disorder for the rest of her life and perhaps be less, in her words, fat and frumpy, but then live with an eating disorder, or actually continue on recovery, changing the way she speaks to herself, bringing compassion in, and also understanding what that means. For me, frumpy, if I hear frumpy, it means like lack of fashion sense or like just not really feeling good in the way you appear. So maybe it would help to get clothes that you feel good in. I don't know if this is what she's saying, but this is what I make frumpy mean. Like, what can you do to help yourself feel better in your everyday clothes, like with your hair, like whatever? You don't need to, but that can help. And it's again that fear of weight gain. Like, why is fat even bad?
Yeah,
Why is that a sticking point to stopping you from reaching full freedom? Because fat can be the most positive thing ever. In fact, it is. When you gain adipose tissue, which is just fat, that's all it is, in recovery, that's a sign of freedom and recovery, not restriction and control.
absolutely. And I mean, it really does all come down to how you're speaking to yourself and what you're making things mean. Because
Yeah.
when you think back and look back, that small body that the eating disorder says was so good, if it was so good, you'd never have started recovery in the first place. If
Mm-hmm.
living that life was so amazing, you wouldn't even be listening to this podcast.
Exactly. So there is no motivation needed. She just needs to keep choosing
Yeah,
freedom over and over again and work on the hidden meaning behind weight gain, which she knows. She knows what that is. And then the hardest part comes by taking action to show your brain and to show your nervous system that it is safe to gain weight. And a preference is different to um, like what word am I looking for? A preference of body size is like a neutral emotional experience. Whereas if you have like a fear of weight gain that's linked to danger and lack of connection and lack of safety and lack of love, you're going to have a charged emotional response to weight gain. So when she keeps working on what weight gain means to her, and you do that the hardest way by allowing yourself to gain weight and showing yourself that it's actually okay and safe, even if she would prefer to be thinner. A preference is just a neutral preference. Like I would prefer to be in a different house, but every time I walk through my house, I don't feel shame or fear into the
Exactly.
in when I walk in the
Yeah.
door.
I would prefer to not have a really long second toe. Which is,
Oh, do
I
you? My sister
do, I
does too.
do. It's courtesy of my dad. It's definitely a genetic thing. Um, they're kind of shoe-shaped feet, right? They go like that rather than like that. But it doesn't mean anything to me that I do have a long second toe, right? I would
Yeah.
prefer not to, but I'm not going to go and have my toes operated on to make them shorter.
Or live in an eating disorder if it might make it shorter.
Exactly. So we can
Yeah.
prefer, I mean, I would say, honestly, most people living in the Western world have the conditioning that means they would prefer to live in a what is the typical society standard.
Yeah, because it's social capital.
Exactly, it's what we've all been conditioned. So most people who live in the Western world would prefer that.
Yeah. But preference doesn't have to be affecting your life in a negative way. It can just be like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I were thinner? But I'm not. Oh, well, let me just live my life in the body I
Yeah.
have now
And
anyway.
I think if you speak to almost anybody, they would prefer to be taller or shorter or have smaller ears
Hmm.
or bigger ears or, I don't know, shorter toes or be thinner or fatter, or everyone can find something that they would prefer to be different, but they don't make it mean anything about them that it's not.
Yes. So, Sue, listen up, young lady. Sort your shit
And
out.
be nice to yourself.
Yeah, be nice to yourself.
You
Come
deserve
on.
it.
Yeah, she can do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Okay, this is a really interesting question. Do you think it's okay to stop putting yourself in situations that are behaviorally triggering? Or should you try to keep being in those situations and work harder on sitting through them?
Oh, I haven't got my little diagram with me because it's in my old office, but I like to see you've got three different zones. You've got your comfort zone, your stretch zone, which is your window of tolerance, but it's very uncomfortable. And you've got your panic zone where your nervous system is like, this is so dangerous. Like, I'm almost re traumatizing myself. So, absolutely always push yourself because if you stay in your comfort zone, you'll never grow and you'll never overcome the fear. But there is a difference between re traumatizing yourself and just stretching yourself.
Yes.
Now, this isn't a free pass to do fuck all and be like, oh, okay, let me just like stay in my comfort zone. So it is a good question. The fact she's asking it shows me that we don't need to be worried about her actually challenging herself, I would assume. So I would say keep challenging yourself and checking in with yourself. So there's going to be a little version of you, within your psyche, that needs your care and support and she needs to know that you have got her. So do these things that challenge you, grow with them, but check in before you do another one. And again, this is like a fine line between giving yourself that free pass to like not progress.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Like, have you got anything to add? It's like, how do you then? We need her on a call really to kind of ask more questions around it.
Yeah. I would say that when we have the situations in our head, we can make them spiral out of control and overthink and over panic and stuff. So if you take yourself into a situation that's triggering and write down what's happening, take pen to paper, come back to the present moment
Mm.
and reassure yourself that you are actually safe, that maybe you are sitting through a film at the cinema or eating a pizza or something, and your head is going crazy, it's saying it's not safe and you should be moving or you shouldn't eat this. Take it out of your head and say, like at the cinema, everybody else is sitting watching this film.
Mm.
I am safe. Take some deep
Yes.
breaths, come back to now. If you get to the
Mm.
point where you're hyperventilating and you're terrified, take yourself outside, give yourself a break. You, as you
Yeah.
said, you don't have to re traumatize yourself. But on the other hand, if nothing changes, then nothing changes.
Yeah. I need to ask her, like, I assume she means the trigger is doing something against the eating disorder, or it could be a trigger of a person or a situation,
Yeah,
because it depends what it is, because our triggers are our teachers and an opportunity to look within.
absolutely. It's like one situation that used to feel incredibly triggering for me is when I met up with friends and they would start talking about the latest diet they were on, or that they needed to lose weight, or that they had lost weight. And I found that incredibly triggering to begin with. With
Mm.
where I was in recovery, I I first of all I did ask them not to talk about that sort of stuff in front of me, which they all agreed not to, but then they kept forgetting because it's such a part of
Mm.
society. So to begin with, I did need to remove myself from that situation. I did need to
Yeah.
walk away and reassure myself.
Yes. Yeah. Until now, I'm sure you can be around it and either eye roll or just say, we're not doing that, or just not say anything, but it not bother you anymore.
I actually just say, I am so grateful I don't buy into that bullshit anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, what? What do you
Yes.
mean? I said, oh, this whole mind washing that you're somehow better if you're thinner. And they're like,
Yep.
oh. And that can then open a conversation.
Yeah. And I'll share a trigger for me that wasn't around food, because I don't know exactly what this person's talking about with triggers. I used to get triggered when someone would choose themselves and put themselves
Oh,
first. And I would automatically be like, you are so selfish. Whereas actually, what was going on within me is it was showing me that I wasn't choosing myself and I wasn't putting myself first. So I was pissed off and annoyed, not at the person, but at myself for not choosing me
yes.
more. So triggers can be, but anything that goes against the eating disorder, everything's going to be fucking triggering.
Yeah.
So you just have to face that. So again, we need you on a call. I mean, that's something for the future, right? To have a joint for both our groups, maybe a January special or something, to have like a joint coaching call or something.
Yeah, that's a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah. So then we can ask you the extra questions in real
Yeah,
time. All
absolutely.
right. Next one. Oops. So Jen says, what helped you truly recover to be your authentic selves beyond food without turning to other coping mechanisms, especially when fear and big emotions surface? The ED has been part of a shell of coping mechanisms to protect a scared version of me that doesn't know how to be. Oh, thank you. That's a great
That is
question.
a great question. And that scared version of you that doesn't know how to be is a younger version of you that needs the adult version to come and look after her.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some inner child work that needs to be done there.
Mhm.
And to treat that fear, that scared version of you, as though it was your own little child that you were looking after.
Yeah.
Um, that's a huge part. Bringing in compassion for how you're feeling. It's okay. You're not bad for feeling scared. You're not bad for feeling that you don't know how to be, because you have to create space by removing those coping mechanisms for the space to be there to find out how to be.
Yep. What she said, and get to explore. So, obviously, the most important is what Julia said, the foundation of everything, the compassion, the inner child work. And then when you're doing actively doing that, 'cause it's not something you do and you tick off and then you move on to this stage. It's a whole process. Allow yourself to get curious and be like, who are we?
Mm.
who do we want to be? Because we do get to be anything and anyone we want to be. We just have to keep choosing and then acting in alignment with who we want to be. But there'll be a part of you that will be feeding back to you. This is fun, or that wasn't fun, or this feels expansive and interesting to me, and that just feels boring and restrictive. So allow yourself to not know the answer. Allow yourself to explore, because she's asked how we became our authentic selves, just by being quiet enough to hear what our inner selves are saying and kind of what breadcrumbs we want to follow. So it's just being in the now with a shitload of inner child work, because that's what needs to happen, because she feels scared to feel like, because I know Jen, what's happening is the eating disorder was a big coping mechanism, as it always is. Now that's falling away because she's doing the work to let go of that. She's so afraid of what she'll be left with without the coping mechanism of the eating disorder.
Yeah. Um, it is about learning to feel without that coping mechanism and
Mm-hmm.
being okay with being upset or being sad or being angry, allowing yourself to have those feelings because they're part of being human and just holding yourself through them.
Yeah. And being okay with just not knowing what's next.
Absolutely. Because
And I guess,
everything will unfold as it's supposed to.
yeah, especially if she practices trust that she can handle the emotions, trust that she will emerge as her authentic self, just trust, blind trust in each moment, and then she will get where she wants to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so a couple of these have got a lot of numbers in. Okay, I'm going to try and omit the numbers and say this without, because I think numbers can be very triggering for people, can't they?
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if it's okay to ask you a question. Yes, it is. I'm a
Mhm.
week into recovery and eating crazy amounts every day. Is that normal? Yes.
Yes.
Just there's nothing else needs to be said. Yes, it is. Um, I'm also still massively over exercising, but I'm working on that. Brilliant. I know
Mhm.
I need to gain weight and I want to, but I'm scared that eating this much a day, I'm going to gain so much so quickly. I've been told
Mm.
that in early recovery, I'm only likely to gain a small amount in the first 4 weeks. But how can that be true if I'm eating huge amounts every day? I have quite a few signs of hypermetabolism, and I'm just wondering how common that is.
Well, who told you that you're unlikely to gain a lot of weight in the first 4 weeks?
Yeah,
Because how does that person even know? Just because they had that experience, maybe they did, it doesn't mean you will. So I know it's hard because the eating disorder will want to kind of grasp onto that as like a bit of like, oh, at least I'm not going to, but just forget that, throw that out the window, because you might not. And I'm pleased to hear that you are, by the sounds of it, allowing your hunger to lead you, and you're eating unrestrictedly, and you're eating, in your opinion, a shit ton of food. Good. You need it, which is why it's happening. And hypermetabolism, it can be quite common. And that's when you need to eat even more, because when your metabolism's like receiving food, it almost burns even quicker. So you need to eat even more. And again, there's no need to worry too much about that, because your body will let you know. Your body will just be hungrier, and it can be so scary to surrender to it, but that's the only way. So I guess this person's wanting reassurance. So it's absolutely normal. Get rid of the you won't gain much in the first 4 weeks. Who the fuck knows? Day to day, blind trust. What do you want most? Recovery and weight gain that you will be able to overcome. The only way to overcome weight gain is by it happening and you having experience of it actually being okay and getting support through that. Or restricting or half restricting and allowing yourself to stay in the eating disorder or in quasi recovery forever. Don't do that.
everything you said. And it sounds like your body is absolutely helping you. Your biology is literally taking over, giving you all this hunger and helping to save your life, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Now, Yeah, different people gain different amounts of weight in different time scales, and there is no right or wrong in that. In my own experience, I gained weight quickly, and when I look back, that was incredibly helpful because,
Mhm.
from my experience, if I'd gained just a tiny bit and then a tiny bit and then a tiny bit, it would have drawn out and prolonged the agony of the fear of weight gain.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was kind of like diving in the deep end. Like, I was terrified of weight gain. I gained weight quickly, and I was like, and I'm still alive. And the world
yeah. It didn't feel
was
nice.
no. It felt all the things. It felt different. It felt all the things the eating disorder says, but the world didn't end. And so it's not a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say, if you gain weight quickly. It's not
Yeah,
a
I
bad thing
also
at
gain
all.
weight quickly. I gain weight quickly, and like you, it sounds so kind of not ridiculous, but I when I was reflecting back on this, it was so mind blowing to me, even though speaking about it might not seem mind blowing. It's similar to what you've just said. Before I gained weight, I thought that my life would just be so shit. And I didn't actually think about it. It was just this fear within my psyche and my nervous system. I thought it was going to be the worst thing to happen to me. And when I did gain weight, my relationships were still the same, probably better. I still had the same job. That was still like everything was actually fine and not changed and actually better. And so it gave me, apart from how I saw myself, and that was body image and self love work to do, but actually my life didn't fall apart. My relationship didn't end. People didn't treat me differently. So actually, it was reassuring for me to gain weight quickly, also. And I did feel like an alien in my body. I was like, what the fuck? It felt like I was wearing a fat suit or
Yeah, I
something.
thought I felt like it wasn't my body anymore.
Yeah, but then you get used to it, and exposure therapy and time is everything. And then you just, again, you might have a preference to be thinner, and that's okay. But you just get used to yourself and you get to live your life in the body you have, your real, authentic body, may I add.
Yeah,
And again, it's trusting the process of that unfolding for you.
yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, what have you got?
I've got Jenny says, we can also answer this very short one at the beginning very quickly. Is it okay to just eat snacks?
If you
Yes.
like, whatever.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's just because I want snacks or whether it's because I want to avoid meals. Oh, I see what she's saying. Okay, right. Is it okay to only eat snacks instead of meals? How do you know what food choice is disordered and what's actually recovery? Okay, different to what I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so that's a really good question, and I remember the confusion. It
Mm,
felt like I didn't know what I wanted, and I think it was just the overwhelm of food noise.
yeah,
So it's absolutely okay to just eat snacks, as many as you like, whenever you like. But if there is a fear of having meals, then you need to have the meals as well.
yes. For me, it was exactly that. It was the fear of being full, physically full. There was two fears. The fear of being physically full from having meals, because I thought that was just intolerable. And then when I did have meals, the fear of not wanting the chocolate and the snacks, which I so desperately did want and wanted to allow myself to have within these conditions of I can eat chocolate and snacks if I don't have
Hmm.
meals. But if I have meals and I'm too full, then I won't want the chocolate and snacks. I'm afraid that I won't want them because I really want them. Does that make
Yes, it
sense?
does. Like you wouldn't have room
Yeah.
to have them and you really wanted them.
Then that was panicky because I wanted to taste it because, it was a source of pleasure and I deprived it for so long.
Yeah. I would say experiment, right? You know you want snacks, so have the snacks, have
Yeah.
meals, and see what happens. Is it that you genuinely are a person that prefers to snack than to have meals? Because people are like that, people do that. Or is it that you're afraid of feeling full? Is it that
Yes,
it's overwhelming to have a lot of food at one time? And if there's fear there, then that's the thing you need to focus on doing.
follow the fear.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing to add.
Okay. Oh, I've been in recovery from anorexia for about a year and it feels so hard. I'm scared I'll never be as happy in a weight restored body as I was in my sick body. Did you feel like that? And did your recovery prove you wrong?
1,000% yes. What a great question to me directly, and obviously probably to you as
Yeah.
well. So, short answer for me, I honestly thought I could never be truly happy unless I liked the way my body looked. When I started recovery, I was willing to give that up because I just didn't want the eating disorder anymore. I was just done with it and I just wanted something different. But I can honestly tell you, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I would like more sleep because I have my almost 1 year old who still likes to wake up 2 or 3 times to drink every night, but that's another story. But in general, I'm the happiest I've ever been in a body that I don't prefer. So it's not like I also love the way my body looks. So it's just showing you as well that you can absolutely be so happy from the inside and not have the preference of the body that you would prefer.
Yeah.
And it was worth every moment of recovery looking back, even though it was the hardest thing I've ever done. So keep going. Have the vision of freedom or whatever it is you're working towards. For me, it was just freedom. Just to like, I remember before I started recovery, I remember being like, I was crying in the mirror and I was like, I want to not care, but I care so much about what I look like, but I want to not. How do I not care so much? And that was this catalyst of me being like, you know what? I want to not care more than I want to look a certain way. And that started everything. So have that as your North Star, have us as inspiration and just keep going.
Definitely. Everything you said. And our brains love to focus on the negative. Like if you posted something on the internet and you got 10 comments praising you, no, 9 comments praising you, and 1 comment slating you,
Mm.
your brain would focus on that. And you'd forget about all the other 9 that were saying this was amazing. You'd just focus on the nasty one. So start training your brain to focus on the good moments in your day, the glimmers, and just grab a little notebook, create a journal or a diary or whatever of happy moments each day, of the moment you were smiled at by a stranger in the street, or that you saw a butterfly, or just these lovely moments. And the more you start to train your brain to notice the nice things, the more your brain focuses on the nice things, and you realize you can be happy because you're not focused
Yeah,
on
even
one
now,
thing. Yes,
without waiting till you've recovered.
absolutely. Straight away, just
Yeah.
start doing it. Look for, they call them glimmers, don't they? Moments
Mm.
of that uplift you, moments that feel good.
Yeah. And also, deeper here, if you have happiness as a goal, you're going to fail because we're human. We can't be happy all the time, even us two.
Well,
We're
if you
not.
didn't feel everything else, happy would be really boring. If you felt that all the time,
That's
it wouldn't feel happy.
exactly that. So, if we didn't know what sadness was, we wouldn't know what the opposite of that was. Like, we live in a dualistic world.
Yeah,
So I swapped my goal of happiness because I had it as a goal without writing it as a goal. Like I just want to be happy. Everyone does, right? But now I always feel underneath as a foundation of everything contentment and fulfillment, even if I have more surface level emotions of like sadness or stress, like underneath the foundation, like everything's just fine and my life has meaning. Like that's the better goal to have because happiness, you can be happy nearly every day but not every day because
yeah.
we're
But
human.
you can notice the good things. Like, even if you had, your daughter had had a nappy explosion this morning and you'd spilt your coffee or what have you, there would still be moments of your morning that had been good, that she
Mm.
smiled at you, that the sun shone, that you got a cuddle with the dog, right? There would still be moments of pleasure in your day. And when you can train your brain to focus on them rather than focusing on the negatives, you will generally feel happy.
Yeah. And last part here, thinking back to what she said with the question. Oh my god, it's just gone. Come back, brain. Please grab it back. Oh yeah, like was it worth it? Everything has a cost and a gain,
Yeah,
everything. So it's a case of what's most important to you for now, letting go of and grieving. That's a big part of recovery. A lot of people don't talk about grieving the loss of this body and being open to stepping into I've gained weight and positive, positive, positive. But everything has a cost and a gain. But I promise you, if you look at it through the lens of I've gained weight and all these positive things have happened, you'll find positive things and experience positive things.
absolutely. Because, I mean, everything that happens in my life that brings me joy and happiness has nothing whatsoever to do with the size of my body.
No, same.
I can't think of any of them that has anything to do with the size of my body.
No, me neither. I mean, I'm grateful that I have an able body to be able to walk in nature. So I guess that's connected to my body, but more of the ableness
Yeah,
of
not the
it.
size.
No, not the size at all. Interesting. Yeah, me too. That's
Yeah,
freedom. All right, the next one. Emily says, I'm having to make some really, this is a good one for you, Julia. I'm having to make a really hard decision regarding her soul dog. I assume because the dog's old and maybe wants to go into the spirit world. I feel sick and I've been struggling to eat properly for a few days. The scary thing is, I can almost feel the pull of the eating disorder coming back. What can I do to prevent those networks sparking off again? Thanks so much.
okay. First of all, I'm just sending you a massive hug. It's, oh, we love our pets so much, and
Mm.
it's so hard when we lose them. And it is totally natural that you've lost your appetite, that you're filled with anxiety, and that the pull of the eating disorder is there. Because in
Mm.
those moments that we don't live through every day, those moments that are really hard to handle and really emotional, our brain will offer us up whatever has worked in the past as a coping mechanism. And because thankfully we don't have to live through moments like that every day, it's very difficult to rewire those extreme parts of the brain. So give yourself compassion for how you're feeling. Notice that the thoughts are there, which you're doing, and reassure yourself that you are allowed to feel sad, you're allowed to grieve, and even though you've lost your appetite, this is where you have to be aware of your history. It's
Mhm.
like, even now, if I'm ill and I lose my appetite, because of my history, I still have to feed myself. It can be something simple, it can be something gentle, it can be something comforting. But because of my history, I still have to eat
Yeah.
so that I don't
And
spiral.
you said something really key, Julia, in terms of the rewiring of the brain. Everyday life stuff, in comparison to these deeply emotional experiences, the brain, like you say, is offering, hey, this worked last time you had this massive emotional digress. Do that again. You can rewire it now because this deeply emotional experience is happening now. You've got a choice. If you then go back to what worked before, or you be like, right, this is really hard. This is coming up for a reason. This is an opportunity now to rewire this part when something like this happens, maybe in the future, these strong emotions coming up. And I'm going to choose me, and I'm going to choose recovery, and I'm going to eat anyway.
Yeah. So just be
Yeah.
super, super, super gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
Eat mechanically if you don't have any appetite at all. Keep it simple, doesn't have to be elaborate, can be gentle, and just take all the help you can get around you as well, because this is tough times.
Yeah. And feel love and grief are two sides of the same coin. The grief that you maybe already feel or perhaps will feel is just a sign of how much you loved. And I know that, again, polarity, I know that can sound so cruel, but allow the feeling. You won't be washed away with the feeling. Allow it, feel it deeply, cry, write, shake, and you'll be okay. You
Yeah,
will. And
you'll
eat.
get through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a very good one. I feel like I'm eating so much and it should be enough, but I'm being told I need to eat at least 7 to 800 more calories. Shouldn't it be what I feel is enough for my body? I've made a lot of progress, but it's being dismissed and labelled as bad.
Oh, well, I'm sorry she's having that experience. And I kind of need her on a call because it depends on if she's truly listening to her body and her mental hunger, or whether she's still engaging in control without perhaps realizing it. Because I want to acknowledge the fact it must be really hard if she's doing her best, making massive progress, and you've got someone saying, that's not enough, do better, you need to eat more. So it's like a balance here of you probably do need to eat more, but I kind of need you to ask, I need you to, on a call, to ask you questions. So because you're not here, what I would say is, are you fully following and allowing your mental hunger and your physical hunger? Are you afraid of being full? Are you afraid of eating certain foods? Follow the fear, face the fear, and only you know truly if you are generally eating completely unrestrictedly or not. That's all I can say without having a bit more information on that.
Yeah. Um, I'm not sure who the people are that have told you you need to eat more. My
Mm.
guess would be that they are professionals of some form, which means they've probably got a lot of experience.
Mm.
So start to question whether it's the eating disorder telling you that it should be enough already. And you mentioned the fear of fullness there. I don't think anybody likes feeling full in recovery. It's
Oh
a
no.
very alien and uncomfortable feeling. It's actually an incredibly important feeling to have, because that fullness, even though it feels alien and uncomfortable, is a signal to your body that the famine is over and your body can start to feel safe. So if you're not eating to that fullness feeling at every meal and snack,
Mm.
then you're not signaling to your body that the famine is over and that your body can start to feel safe.
Yeah.
Um, with the progress that you've made, let's celebrate that, because that is amazing, right? And it sucks when people are saying, oh, you've done that, but you need to do this and you need to do more. It sucks when you're not being acknowledged. So acknowledge it
Yeah.
yourself, because every step counts. And our brains love reward, they love praise.
Mhm.
So praise yourself.
Yeah.
And just
You've got
because
this.
there's more that needs to be done, it doesn't mean that what you're doing doesn't count.
Exactly that. And we are on your side. And thinking back to the question, we are on your side. The words, it should be enough, actually speaks to me that there's eating disorder, fear of stuff going on there with the words that she's used
The
in the
word should
question.
is a self judgment. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
well done for reaching out. Well done for making this incredible progress. It's absolutely fantastic. And I really want to acknowledge that, because every bit of progress is really hard. And
Yeah.
You may need more calories. You probably do. Recovery is a journey and you can only do it one step at a time. So just keep working towards it. You don't have to do everything all at once.
She's got this.
Absolutely, you've got it. You're already doing it.
Yes. Have we got time for one
I
more?
reckon we can do one more, yeah.
Right. Wow. Okay. Helena's asked three, so I'm going to see if I can combine them or just choose one. Let me just quickly skim through them. Hmm. Right. I'm just going to pick the middle one.
Okay.
What do you do at the exact second when you were just about to do the recovery action, for example, eat the challenging food, and then you freeze and the eating disorder voice sends panic messages? How do you go forward rather than run back to the familiar? Did you plan in advance with your coach how you would act in these moments? Did you try different approaches? Which one worked? Sorry, this is a 101 question, but that's where it's so easy to get stuck. It's taking the action anyway, isn't it? In the fear.
Yes. Yeah, it's for me, I found it incredibly helpful to predict.
Yeah. So you know it's a bit of safety because you know what's coming
Yeah.
almost.
So if I was going to, let's say, have the donut, oh my God, I had an amazing donut yesterday. It was a Biscoff one with caramelly Biscoff spread aside. Oh, amazing. Um,
Oh, yum.
so that would
Yummy.
have terrified me. So say that donut was a challenge in recovery. If I'd said, right, I've got this donut, what is the eating disorder going to say about it? And I would jot that down. So when I went in that moment to have the donut and the eating disorder indeed sparked up with, you can't eat that because, I would then tick it off my list. Like, yep,
Yeah, like a
yep,
game.
yep. And then I'd eat. And it actually made me feel quite smug, like I was getting one over on the eating disorder.
Yeah.
So for me, that was really helpful.
Yeah, like playing a game with
Yeah,
it, bringing some humor into the fear. Because when we bring humor into the fear, it's less
it takes away its power,
intense and
doesn't
less
it? Yeah.
dangerous. Yeah, it loses its power. What helped me was using. So, what helped me was kind of using anger and had this rage within me from all this inner child stuff that I hadn't done. And I use my anger to move forward with Helena knows my quote, whatever it fucking takes. So if I was afraid of eating something, I'd be so pissed off that I was afraid of eating some fucking toast with butter. I'm like, come on, like, how the fuck can you, a grown ass woman, be afraid of having some toast with butter, which is what you really want? So the annoyance at my fear of the thing helped me to kind of gather this energy and be like, whatever it fucking takes. I'm so annoyed, I'm afraid of it. So I'm going to like prove you wrong. And I guess that's a different way of going about it. But that's what helped me to channel all of that energy and like whatever it fucking takes into the fear and then be like, ha, did it anyway, kind of thing.
It's interesting. In both our responses to this question, we separated ourselves from the eating disorder.
Yes, very, very key.
Yes.
Yeah, because we are not the eating disorder and we're not our
No.
fear. We can move through fear, even if we're really afraid, we can still move through it and do the action anyway. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
So there's a great book, Helena, called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Read that. It's basically like I've written it. Like when I listened to that book, I was like, oh my God, this is literally what I do in the steps she says without realizing that I do those steps. So that's a great book for anyone to read. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's like an old school book.
Awesome.
Cool. And sadly, we'll have to end there because of my Riverside thing fucking up. We lost some time. And, oh, this is really sad to say, because I'm now going to be moving from weekly podcast to bi weekly podcast, just because I'm taking even more time to spend with my daughter and focus on my one to one clients without creating content all the time. We're going to press pause on the Q&As for now. They will be back, I promise you that. Like I've already mentioned, if Julie's up for it, I think it would be cool to do something in the new year, like a coaching thing, like for both of our groups, an exclusive thing like that. So there'll be more to come, but I joked that no one sent us a jingle, so I was like, right, sod it then. is not true, obviously. If you're wondering what I'm on about, listen to the last one we did together. So yeah, that's kind of sad to share, but it's again me practicing putting what I need first and my time, which is really hard because I love this with Julia, and I know you all love it as well. And they will be back, but just for now, for me anyway, Julia will be doing them, I'm sure,
Yes.
the Q's and
Yeah.
A's
I
still.
will be doing Q&A sessions, definitely.
Yeah. And if you have any questions for me, pop them on my Instagram story. I have a questions for podcast. And if it's a juicy question, I'll make it into a solo episode because I want to do more solo ones. So I really miss chatting shit to the camera by myself. So there's more to come of that for me. But we will be back. I just wanted to give you a heads up just in case you were wondering, like, hey, where's the monthly Q&A? Just until I, find my feet a bit more with the motherhood thing. So yeah,
I'm only
thank you,
chuckling
Molly.
because motherhood just changes stages each time. You don't really ever find your feet till they've left home.
Until they've left
Yeah.
home. I'll just get used to just completely tumbling and finding my feet and tumbling and
Yes,
finding my
essentially
feet.
that.
It's all good. One day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Liz. Thank you for listening. As always, we love you all.
Love you lots. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.